everyone. Welcome to this week's Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blind Intelligence. I'm your host, Miss Ronnie. Please excuse my voice. I have a little bit of laryngitis today, but remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Okay, our special guest for today is Miss Tyra No Banks. She is a new artist. So what we're going to do is let her take over and tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Tyra Johnson. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, born and raised. I also attend Southern University here in the city. I'm a psychology major and I'm a senior. In the middle of my senior year, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and write my first book, and it's titled Poetry for Colored Folks. So it's a short collection of poems for my people. Basically, every poem was written with intention. You're gonna learn something, you're gonna heal something, you're gonna laugh, or it's gonna bring you back to a favorite memory. Like, I just wanted to create a body of work that represents the times as of now. Like a lot of the books that we have are from older authors, and like I'm 26, I'm living in current reality. So we got a little bit about the coronavirus going on, just talking about some of how like the Black family is not what it used to be. We don't have cookouts and stuff anymore, and I just really wanted to create a body of work that like reflects where we are as a community right now. And then also, while I'm in college, I also have a YouTube channel. So I have a little content creation going on. I like to get on TikTok and make videos and stuff and just try to get my face out there. And then also, like, I just went into the studio for the first time and recorded a song. So I'm excited about that as well. And I'm just excited to be so young and like trying to do so much. And like you always say, like, young people not doing anything. And like, I'm really throwing my mustard seeds out there, and I'm really excited and proud of the work that I've put together.
Okay. So tell me, is being an author something that you have always wanted to do? Did it coincide with your major, or was it life experience that made you want to write a book?
I've always wanted to be an author. I actually started writing poetry when I was 6 years old. The first poem I wrote was a poem dedicated to my grandmother after she passed, and it kept going from there. And I didn't really think of it as a talent. It was just something that I did. But I won the President's Award when I was in elementary school for my writing, and I had a teacher tell me, she was like, "You're gonna write books one day." And you hear people tell you that, and you go on about your life, and then this year, my senior year, I got an opportunity to turn that into a reality. So it's something that's always been with me. I just didn't think I recognized my potential right away. And then completing the book made me realize, like, oh, you nice. Like, you you got a talent, and keep going with it. So
Okay. So you mentioned that you went into the studio and recorded your first track. So the
yes.
reason why I'm going to ask you that, I have interviewed and talked to other artists that actually started out writing
Mhm.
poetry. Do you think poetry is a
Mhm.
gateway to music?
Absolutely, it's the same thing. It's just without a beat. A lot of times when I do spoken word, people always tell me like it sounds like you spitting over a beat, and I'm like, well, it's the same thing. And I definitely think it was a gateway. I think when I finally realized that it was the same thing, I was already older, but that's what made it good, because it was like I'm already used to doing it. Now I just need to put it over a beat and step into the studio, and it made it so much smoother. I feel like you have to teach when people don't start with a writing background or a poetry background, you have to teach them how to do certain things. When you already know how to do it, it's easier for you. It was
Mhm.
like that. So
So do that make you have any type of like, I would say, impatience for working with other people who might not grasp it as fast? Or how are you when you work with other people?
um so I'm gonna assume you mean like other artists or other people that write poetry.
Well, I'm talking about when working on music, because when working on music, you're going to have to work with a lot of different people if you can't do all the steps and the components yourself. So, being that much of it that you can do yourself, how
Hmm.
are you working with other people?
I'm great with working with other people. That's something that I do, on the everyday. I think where I get maybe a little bit frustrated is because I have a writing background and not a music background mostly. It's like people would assume that I don't know certain things. And then when I do, it's more so like, like that kind of dumb blonde moment. They're like, oh, she knows how to do this already. And I'm like, yeah, I've been doing it. So that's the only thing. But I can work well with people. I just don't like for my intelligence to be downplayed at all.
Okay. So I came across you on social media and you
Hmm.
have a post. I want you to tell everybody about what you got going on and where you're trying to get your book.
Oh, I would love to. So I'm a part of CLI. It's this book initiative where they find young authors and they give them a chance to write their own book. So they take you through a whole process. It's a whole year. Every time you write a page, there's someone there to check, what you're doing. And then when you get to the end, you have this full book, and then you have this opportunity to go to California and compete for publishing. So that's the stage that I'm in now. The book is completed, but I'm looking to be published. So at this conference, it's going to be hundreds of young Black authors, and you're going to go on stage and you recite, two of your poems or whatever your work is, and you basically give them like a synopsis of what your book is going to be about. And then after that, you'll win the publishing deal, and this deal could potentially put my book into bookstores, retail stores all over the United States. And I'm so excited about it because I'm just a little Black girl from Louisiana, and to think that one of my books is going to be in Target somewhere around the world, like that just makes me so excited. And I wanted to share that with social media because, I'm looking to get donations from people so that I can make it to California and to compete. Like I said, I know when I step into the room, I'm going to come home with it. I just need to get there. And that's why I went to social media with it.
Okay. So do you think that social media has been good for you or more work for you?
It's been great for me because I was so shy at first, and then putting my face in the camera doing YouTube at first opened me up to the idea of even sharing my poetry or even going to the studio. And then when I stepped away from YouTube and did TikTok, I would sing on TikTok. I would do all different type of stuff, and it was the confidence that I got from like my followers and my supporters. Every time I went viral for doing something, just to see in the comments, like it reinforced me that I'm talented. So it definitely helped me.
Okay. Tell me about your music side.
My music side, so I've always been a singer. I grew up in the church. Like I said, I'm from the South, so Baptist church. That's always been a part of me. Singing with my grandmother, singing with my mom, singing with my friends. When I was coming up, music was a big thing in schools as well. So we had choir. I'm getting choir in church and at school all the time. And then, now I'm just like at a point where I'm like, I need more people to hear this voice. I need more people to hit his pen because I don't just sing, I rap too, and then the poetry as well. So it's all like I basically say a full circle thing. Like everything I've been doing since I was a child has only gotten better, and it's bringing me to this point.
Okay. What's your major in school?
Psychology. And I know that has nothing to do with the writing part, but like you said, do you work with people? You always have to understand people in anything that you do,
Well, I
especially.
think psychology is very important for marketing because you have to know, oh, I'm going to try to target this market right here. And this is what I know about them. So if they were in this scenario, what would happen?
Right,
If I
right.
done this right here, would it draw more people in? I used to be a psychology major. But
Really?
I changed to Yeah, I changed to sociology, and then I got a master's in counseling. So all up here, I'm all for
Yeah,
it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I think it's been
That's
very
the reason
important.
why I laugh.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's the reason why I laugh. But writing is actually very important in psychology. So don't think
Hmm.
that it don't go hand in hand. Only a person who couldn't put it together and have a whole concept, such as when you write a song or you get ready to shoot a video, you have to have
Hmm.
a concept. You're just not out there doing anything. So I
Right.
think the writing, the psychology, the everything goes hand in hand. I mean, even humanities is almost a part of psychology and philosophy and all those different things that all go together. So when you're creative, you use all those aspects. So I laugh about it, but yeah, that's a big part. You have to know how to think.
Thank you. Yeah, and then doing research about the music business, you already know it's a lot of mind games. You have to be on your p's and q's. So being able to sit in front of somebody and just analyze them and know when they BSing me or what, and then the marketing part, like you said, all of it has been helping me. But when I say it, usually at the beginning, people are like psychology, but you right, and I'm like no, but it's helpful, you know.
Oh, I see it. So
Thank you.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. You look like, and I'm gonna ask, have anybody ever told you this? You remind me of, I can't remember what her name is, but she's Tammy Roman's daughter. That's also an artist.
I know who you talk. Jazz, is it Jazz? Is her
I think
name?
something like that. Something
Yeah.
like that. Remind me a lot of her.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Okay, so tell me about. I know you told me that you was in the choir and that you was in the choir at school and that you then
Mhm.
finally got in the studio. Was this your first time in the studio? And tell me about your experience for the first time
Yes.
being.
So yes, it was my first time being in a recording studio. I was extremely nervous. I'm a perfectionist. Well, I said recovering perfectionist because I'm trying to learn to let that go. But not knowing what to expect had me terrified. And like when they started talking about do your stab and this and that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then once I got it, it was smooth selling. Like so, I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm ready to get back in there.
Okay. So, do you think that your career is going to move towards doing more music, or are you just going to keep writing poetry, or are you going to try to get into like ghostwriting for other people? What are your plans?
My plans is to do both. Writing is a part of me. Like I don't just do poetry. Like I write stories as well. So um, I'm definitely going to keep writing the books because that fuels the music. My life experiences, the way that I'm able to explain things and give details about things, all of that helps me do the music. So if I stop being an author, that would completely derail the music thing altogether because I'm constantly reading and learning new things, and those experiences help me write those lyrics. So I definitely want to keep doing both.
Okay. So, is your book available anywhere now?
Not yet, but we're hoping that because the conference is this month. So it is being published, like printed. I won't say published, printed right now. But published as in being in places and on platforms, not yet.
We'll talk after this. I have a friend that owns a publishing company, and she's also an editor, and she has been a New York's bestseller for many times over. And she's from
Thank
right here. She's from
you.
right here.
Thank you so much. Yes, let's have that conversation.
Don't, I always have a plan B, C, D, E, and F.
Yeah, yeah, I know. My mom is in my ear about that now. Like, what do you want to do if they don't pick it up? And I'm just like, I'm gonna trust God.
That's
Like I said,
opportunities. There's other opportunities because you can self-publish. You're not just stuck to that. I mean, you
yeah.
can open your own publishing company. I mean, there can be things that can be done. I mean, so that right there, if it's your dream, it can be done. All you have to do is do research, talk to people. I spoke to a man, interviewed on my show one time, and I said, "What advice will you give to people who's trying to get into the industry?" And he
Hmm.
said, always work with people or be around people who is making money doing what you're trying to do. He said, you don't want to be around people who is not making money and basically front because it's not going to put money in your pocket. You need to get around people who know what they're doing. So
Mm.
I'm interviewing, I listen, and a lot of things that I try to do is pass resources along. So if that's what you need, hey, I know a publisher, I know an editor, she's wherever now. So hey,
Well, I'll receive it. I thank you so much. I received the advice. I'm always asking people like, What can you give me any words that can help me out? So I'm always one to listen. If you got something for me, I'ma hear it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. Tell me, how long did it take for you to write the book? With you being a student, I know you got
Um,
finals.
so it took me about 6 months to write the material because I'm with a night owl. Sometimes I'm asleep and the words are just I have to get up and write it. I have to. So I wrote pretty fast. The process took a long time because, like I said, everything I wrote, I had to get it approved. There was somebody that looked over it. I had to go to a panel, so it took a full year to get everything together, but about 6 months for all of the poems.
Well, I thank you for coming. I really enjoyed you. You're very interesting. So, if you have any last words, you get your last words. Tell everybody the name of your book, your social media handles, where they can find you and where you hope to be.
My last word is success is a journey, not a destination. The woman told me I was gonna write a poetry book when I was in the fourth grade. I'm 26. Give yourself time. And my social media handles is Tyra No Banks on everything. So it's TYRA. That's 4 A's, no banks. And then I can send you something. I don't know if you put things on the screen or whatever, but you can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. It's all the same.
Okay. Now, how did you get the name Tyra No Banks?
Because when I meet people and they're like, "What's your name?" and I'm like Tyra, and they're like, "Oh, like Tyra Banks, the model." I'm like, "No, no Banks. I'm Tyra. They're not the same, honey."
I got you. I got you.
And I just stuck with it.
Find her, especially on TikTok. She loves TikTok, I can tell.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, and her YouTube channel. You can find us on all podcasting platforms, Spotify for video podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Pandora. I know I'm missing some. Sorry, everybody. Partnership with Apple. So if you have your links, send your links in. You can find us on Facebook and the blog every Friday. And we'll see you next week. Bye.